Um, Hello everyone. I'm honored to be here as featured poet. Honestly, to be among this many great poets on David's page has been intimidating. However, with rehearsing, I think I've gotten used to the whole idea. Uh, I'm from Colorado Springs, Colorado, USA. Been here about 3 years now. Moved to the Front Range here from the mountains in North Carolina, USA. Sometimes I write in Southern speak, however, I don't have any of those for you here today. Um, I just turned 70 in April. It's a very interesting turn of events, actually. Can't pretend to be young anymore. And I'm getting used to that context as well. My influence is mostly what I write about are nature and the metaphysical, and I spend time writing poems of witness. Today, I'm pleased to present to you 8 original poems. All but one have been published in literary journals somewhere on this blue planet we all call home. I'm also reading one piece today by another poet artist. I don't believe I've read any of them here before. Well, enough about all of that. Let's get started. So, my first piece is called In a Promised Land. The canyon gorge divides the earth. From the people of the northern tribes to the people of the southern lives, this evening warmth prevails with a gentle wind rising. The clouds float, white, puffy, calmly, above a riotous red dichotomy of the dark walls. A man stands on the southern cliff face. He plays a rich tenor sax. The solid middle register resounds in the chasm. Many swallows fly, swooping to his jazz triplet phases and dotted 16th notes. The clouds above the Black Canyon have nowhere to go. They float off anyway towards a nirvana no one knows. A woman stands on the opposite northern precipice. She sings an ancient ballad reminiscent of an old Irish tune in a fine alto voice. Clear and strong notes fill the air. A falcon flies near and appears to hover nearby on an updraft, banking on the steady phrasing to the right, to the left. There are mountaintops off in the distance over yonder wilderness, miles and miles of them. The music is about the joy of loving. The key modulates. Both musicians follow each other effortlessly. Below, the light of Black Canyon deepens in the sunset. The music continues, now meshed in a unique harmony. Evening clouds are pink and rose ivory. Nonetheless, in listening to the harmony rising, the air is full of a peace, promising the freedom to believe. Thank you. My next piece is called Of the Lands of She-Bear. And well, I don't know what to say about it, so I'm just going to read it. Okay. Of the Lands of She-Bear. Not like there was no language to be understood. Those of the shaping of the wind's desires, the she-bear looks with dread at our human words, placing her 2 feet sturdily united on the ground, her face readable in the eyes and lips expressing chuffing. It is communication without language. It is understood in the manner of dismay from we of the peoples, one of survival when confronted out of the directions of the many landscapes where one of us, indeed, where the many of us have tread during the something heard in our challenges. Off in the distance, the line there is difficult to discern. those horizons concerting reds and yellows in symphony, and the evening fog is rising. Her den above, she-bear climbs the rising green slope, stopping to eat the succulent grasses and sledge. She digs the roots, massive paws scooping, making no conversation with the world. Thank you. My next piece happened, as Finn put it. This one happened. But I'm going to preface it by saying that getting in the woods, getting in the wilderness, getting in out there is what I choose to do regularly. And me and my hound go, and we stay several days in a tent. And this particular one um, happened during one of those trips. This one's called Black Moose. It resonates with me, my encounter with another mysticism of nature at the edge of the mountain glen. While chancing to be near it, the large black mass standing stationary in the aspens as if to be unnoticed by being still. A bull moose eating leaves from above its head. A thin line of silver fur going from mighty shoulder to mid-back. Young antlers, soon to be a fierce armament, now in velvet, growing as if to scoop up the world. Moving closer, keeping a mature pine betwixt the maybe over 1,000 pounds of magnificent and my wonder. Thus occupied, I did not worry when he stopped eating, looking in my direction, standing there wondering about me, perhaps, as it stood in the dappled sunlight, astonished at the proximity, noticing the depth of those brown eyes, pushing souls together, mine to his, brown mine to brown his. Iris is different, mine round, his oval. Being in the moment of no thought, now wondering if he had a name. No feeling of fear in that closeness, only about 20 paces separating us. The sun shone on me as I looked and felt that regal, power black fur, a strength, assurance, commanding the ground he stood on, like owning the very earth. He is next to the tree now, having moved so silently and keeping the thick twine between us, our eyes locked still, getting what each other had to give, my consciousness mingling with the being of this immense creature. His long neck craning around, reaching nearly in my space, moved away, breaking the mesh, keeping the pine tree between we two, having realized this tree is woefully small, becoming the wood beetle now, uncovered under the bark. I retreated to the next few tall pines nearby. I am the rhinoceros beetle now. Our conversation had not ended, though no words had been spoken out loud. No malice felt, only a near wistfulness from the moose and I. Like a translator would be appreciated to move the instances together somehow. Staring into each other's eyes, far longer still, feeling the thoughts, each having our own insights of consciousness, of intuitiveness. That powerful, rippling, muscled black, now moving away, my humanness touched by this moment. Even wanting to know where all this could go, I did not follow deeper into this thicket, his woods. Thank you. So my next piece is called The Wandering. And to just remind everyone, I live in the West now. And here in Colorado, it has all those Western scenes that you might have seen in a movie or two. or if you live out this way, you got the privilege of having them. But this one is called the Wandering. Allowing the horse to lead the way, heading up the canyon, or maybe it was a deeper arroyo, sandstone cliff walls rising, suddenly cottonwood trees ahead, and two large pools of water connected by a rivulet. Dismounting, both drank from the pools, seeing a cream-colored panel nearby. There was rock art on the wall, strange figures with handprints of red and yellow, lines of triangular shapes, a row of man-like figures 5 feet tall. Just down the way, higher up, a home of antiquity, stacked rocks under the overhang, blackened roof in one corner, broken pottery and an arrowhead lying under, begging the questions why and when did, with no answer not left to the imagination. Just then a wind blew, somehow whistling a soft melancholy. Thirst gone for water, mounting up, both turned back, wondering. Thank you. This next piece is happening the great state of Idaho, which is north of where I live. Close by, if you can count that it took 2 days to drive there. I live in a big country, but there's a river. This place I went to is someplace I always wanted to go to, which is to say it's the second largest wilderness area in the continental United States, 2.3 million acres of wilderness. And the locals know the river there by the name, the River of No Return. But it's really called the Salmon River on the map. So this piece is in a grove by the Salmon River. Somewhere on this river, what is left today is a sacred spot with water energy. The Shoshone lived on this river long before Lewis or Clark or even 1805. I stand here now in this silent grove, tall pine trees, standing watch as the river rushes by, likely as it did those many years before. I see things that are not there. Wisps in the glen, gray mist drifting, a feeling of the past gurgling over the rapids flowing by. A wisp of mist swirls, turning into an old man, a Native American. He speaks to me in a language I do not understand, pulling my hands open, shrugging shoulders to show I cannot comprehend. The old Shoshone man walks up to me, looks directly in my eyes, and looking back unflinchingly, I see there is a depth there in his eyes. I wonder, did he hide his affection or win or lose something in his life not so very much different than mine? Our eye communication ends with his speaking accented English this time. You are standing on my son's grave. I'll move to the left a pace or two. Now you're standing on my daughter's. This entire grove is burial ground for my people. See that pine tree by the river? That's where my body lies. I don't need it anymore. Again, looking in my eyes, there, down by the riverbank, is a good place to sit and talk. You won't be walking on my family there. They're going over to where the river roared by, seeing the faces behind his face. There were at least 30 faces there, each one a bit smaller than the preceding until they faded away. My people don't hide their love. Your people are like wheels turning round and round, sometimes going nowhere, fewer times getting where you have the desire to go. I looked at this man from so long ago, offered him smoke from my pipe. He said, just blow it through me. Laughing at the folly, smiling, I asked this man about the failings of his people. His response, men don't understand women in the tribe. We honor them and we try to find a way. In this, I realized we were very much alike. He arose another of those long looks. We were eye to eye again, a moment that seemed like, however likely, only lasted seconds. Turning, my new friend walked into the river. It's gone. Reflecting on this strange occurrence, did the old Shoshone have to shake it up, make it up, to really have a closeness with the women of his time? Certainly in my times now, there is a secret world everyone has inside. Thank you. I'm going to read y'all a poem here that became a song. I wish I'd written it so poignant and timeless, as pertinent today as back as when it was written in 1985. This is Pete Townshend's Face to Face, the third cut off the 1985 album White City. You must have heard the cautionary tales, the dangers hidden on the cul-de-sac trails from wiser folk who have been through it all, and faded names sprayed up on the wall. We got to judge the judge. We got to find the finds. We got to scheme the schemes. We got to line the lines. We must stake the stakes. We got to show the shown. We got to take the takes. We got to know the known. Try to place the place where we can find the face. Face the face. Got to face the face. You must have tried and defied belief, maybe buried your head in insular grief. I need your hunger and you need mine. A million mouths can swallow up time. We got to fool the fools. We got to plan the plans. We got to rule the rules. We got to stand the stands. We got to fight the fight. We must fall the falls. We got to light the light. We have to call the calls. We must race the race so that we can face the face. We got to keep looking. New York, Chicago, London, and Glasgow. Keep looking. Keep on looking. Keep on cooking. Got to stay on the case, study the pics, watch the flicks. We've got to find the face. We got to judge the judge. We got to find the finds. We got to scheme the schemes. We got to line the lines. We got to fight the fight. We got to fall the falls. We got to light the light. We have to call the calls. I hope y'all enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed reading it. Lovely song, too. If you haven't heard it in a while, maybe you should look it up. I'm going to pivot here and get away from nature and go to some poetry that I've really spent time writing, and which is to say some poetry of witness. And I'm going to read to you today the piece that I submitted to the Panorama 2024 Festival. We had to write a piece that was thematic, and we had to do a video presentation. So this became my second ever video presentation. And a friend of mine who's a jazz musician here in Colorado Springs allowed me to use one of his cuts for the music for the background. And this piece is called Again and Again. It happens again and again. We all act like strangers in our far away, strange lands. Heinlein had it right. The need for love is so great. In this time of orange violence, no matter whether in Ukraine or Gaza or Yemen or the Congo or even Myanmar, from the mountains, we armed apes descend with our instruments of war. It happens again and again and again, starting all over. Agni calls us to burn that away and replace with the spark, the concord of creation. So Peace resumes being spelled in capitals. We come with our cultural animosities, stupidly dropping smart bombs, where the children, otherwise innocent, watch the demolition of their familiar streets, once so loved, now filled with debris. It happens again and again and again, starting all over. Through the eons, when we should remember to be present to a warm, sunny day, nurturing our lives, our loves. When people stop remembering, if only for a gray, quick minute, just so absent the memory that megalomaniacs are from the darkness. Likewise, creating a good, clear light must prevail over the presence of evil's blackness. It happens again and again and again, starting all over as if never having understood, hiding from the lush jungle of history's dusty pages, instead of learning from them that peace comes from within and then warmly spreads. It can happen again and again and yet again. Thank you. My next piece is also a piece of uh, poetry of witness, maybe a little poetry of agitation in here too. But this one's called The Straw Hat with Flowers. It's a hot day in Iraq's summer. Navia province. ISIS is driven from the landscape now. Browns, all the possible different shades of it, belie the brokenness which is everywhere. Big holes in the native brown dirt, dust covers all. The broken light brown buildings and homes. Demolition cord has loose, dark brown and black wires. Fired house bricks lay in smashed tan brown heap. The Yazidi are rebuilding. Somehow in this new dawn, a daily terror is over now. The truly talented psychopaths of ISIS are gone. Everyday items like a teapot or a computer game controller are left behind, stuffed with explosives. Also, artillery shells are wired to blow. Now, all need the work of removal. Losing goat herds to mines is bad. Having a child killed by an ISIS mine while playing in their backyard is worse. There's a 5-woman crew clearing them today. They all wear khaki brown uniforms, patches with red letters, beyond courageous in moving into a minefield. Annoying screeching and beeping coming from the long green handle held of a government-issued metal detector. The sweepers notice the danger. No dreaming here. One has on a feminine straw hat and gold earrings. While she is in the minefield, these are her personal colors flying in the face of murderers. Her hat has a big dark blue flower. Every mine she removes is one more strike against them. In her evening, she dreams of a fresh peace for tomorrow's new day. Thank you. And I'm gonna end with this last piece, which kind of gets us back to the theme of nature. A little more positive than the last two I just read. I really love writing about nature, so I'm glad to get back to this. So this one's called Rediscovering Lost Worlds. A waterfall plunges hundreds of feet down into a chasm only flown into by hummingbirds. They dip into the edges of the cascading water and slipping through the rainbows of red, blue, yellow, and purple down there. Green Vegetation grasps tenuous footholds on rock faces lining the walls. The water cares not. It goes on. There is a quiet roar from below. It is as if the water is civilization, slipping toward discord, descending away from the heights of culture, languages, arts, to be forgotten as they always are on the broken cliffs of time, as humanity searches for the right answer, stubbing toes on the wrong interpretation, even though standing in broad daylight. The river continues to pour over cliffside, white mist obscuring, seeing the way, pouring towards a new enlightenment, perhaps, a coat of many colors. The rock beneath is ancient, smooth, brown sandstone. No fossils can be seen on them. To trudge on this unevenness is stepping in the direction of a distant hut, barely visible off in the horizon, the light inside welcoming we strangers, encouraging us to step determinately towards building anew. Thank you all for having me and listening to me, and I'm deeply appreciative to be in the presence of such fine poets. Thank you.